Some of you know a cartoon called Generator X that was made by Cartoon Network and the Man of Action team, but most of the fans don't know about an edgier comic that started it all. M-Rex is a comic that was created by the guys behind Generator X and was published in 1999. It only had 2 issues but was discontinued afterwards. First issue, it's told to us the year is 2005 and machines have evolved to hate humans. There's a bloody uprising that wipes out the west coast of the United States. California's gone, thank God. But humanity continues on. In the middle of the ocean, there's some rich assholes on a cruise ship that are hosting a charity event to stop pollution and the spread of biotechnology. There's a group called Providence that are hired on board to protect the rich assholes. The leaders of this group are called White Knight and Agent 6, and while he's still got the Agent Smith drip, 6 and the crew on the ship are simping for a woman named Mia, who's a big spokesperson slash actress who will be speaking at the event tonight. For anyone wondering about the monkeys on board, those monkeys were trained by White Knight himself to sniff out sentient electronics, so Knight sees this. Unfortunately for a guy's blender, White Knight knocks it down, and when complaints are brought up saying, "Are you high, my dude?" White Knight says the blender was looking at him funny. Now we meet Rex, finally, after like 5 pages. Rex is a thief on board with his mentor Spilkin. They are there to rob the place, as you can see. Spilkin took in the orphan Rex because Rex can control electronic doors and vaults and such. Rex is only there because Spilkin promised him to find his parents. But instead, Rex finds the luggage, and White Knight's monkeys smell Rex and flip the fuck out. After hitting a dead end, Rex falls through Mia's dressing room, and Rex asks for help, and Mia says sure. After Mia commenting on a therapy bill that she'll need, the charity event starts in the middle of the moonlight. Man of the hour, Simon Babbage, as Six mentioned prior in the first few pages, has started talking about the charity and explained how Haven Industries is going to help stop pollution. Everyone's cheerful, saying that he's going to stop the industrial complex of technological progress. Sure you do, buddy. But Rex is stuck under the stage with no loot and watching all this unfold, and Silpkin is pissed. Knight's monkeys start running towards several electronics, and Knight starts to panic. The reason for Providence being there is because the robot techs that people had as electronics actually can transform, and they are starting to ambush the crews, starting to wage war against humanity. This is their first step, and the first step is killing Mia and Simon. Simon gets the fuck out, and Mia stays behind because she sees Rex caught up in the crossfire. Rex can't escape, and when Mia tries to save him, she instead needs saving. Six swoops in, trying to stop the bot, and what we have already known has been revealed by a big giant mech. But since Rex realizes that Mia was trying to help him since he's a literal child, Rex's powers finally activate for the first time, turning into giant smack hands, decimating the bot. This ends issue 1. If you want to see the next part, let me know. Remember to follow for more. Thank you for watching. Cordata7, out. In my last video, I talked about the comic that started Generator X. I covered the first issue. Now I'm going to recommend you watch the prior video because it's important for the context of that issue, and I am not going to give you a recap. Issue 2 starts off strong, where Spilkin is ranting about how useless Rex is for abandoning him, only for Rex to pop up in the next page with his version of the Boogie Pack slash Jetpack. Rex explains he can use his powers to transform his body into mechanical constructs, just like in the show. Spilkin is pleased and says that Rex is now a very valuable asset. This does not have any warning or red flags whatsoever. Then we jump to a flashback where a mysterious figure is torturing a man for information on something important. This has no meaning whatsoever. Jump cutting to the present, Six is also torturing someone and is on the warpath, looking for Rex. He is interrogating what can be assumed to be a narco. We learn that Six's katanas can use infinite Tsukuyomi, and he mentions how Providence calls it some kind of form of psychological warfare. The shady character Six is torturing fesses up quickly. He offhandedly mentions Spilkin before going mad. We also then cut to Rex in Morocco along with his mentor. Over the course of a few pages, it is implied that Rex is at probably has an issue with human trafficking and also a lot of slavery BS. Mia's assistant calls it weird and that her white flesh will be used for the black market. But Mia calls her out for being racist, only to say that Mia being thin is also a turnoff for these people. Yes, this is actually canon. But, racism aside, and also a little bit of fat phobia, Sixes encountered Mia and they pinpoint Rex's location. Spilkin takes Rex to a guy who definitely wants to buy someone, being Rex, and likes little boys. There are other young boys of dark skin, but before this can turn into a Dateline or How I Survived episode, a machine pops out of the creep's skull. Honestly, good. The slaves thank the machine and then nope the fuck out. Mia and Six and her assistant arrive on cue, and the machine tries to drill into Rex's skull, since Rex contains the key to controlling machines or something like that. Instead, Rex's nanites say nope, uno reverse, and damage the bot. In a last resort, the bot self-destructs, leaving shrapnel flying. He calls it the porcupine maneuver or something. This kills Mia's racist assistant and grievously injures Spilkin. No one is surprised and everyone celebrates. At least I do. Spilkin, being the slimy weasel piece of crap he is, begs Rex for help. Rex calls him on his bullshit, only for him to leave, and also in the middle of it, Spilkin starts berating Rex, calling him worthless. Rex destroys the floor beneath him and flees. White Knight shows up chastising Six, saying that this isn't his mission to follow and that Rex is a liability and a threat to humanity. Six flips out, saying he can handle the case, but White Knight states that it is Providence's directive to eliminate machines like Rex. The issue is, Rex is called the King of Machines, and the nanites inside him are a very big threat to humanity in White Knight's mind. This ends the second and final issue of M. Rex. I definitely exceeded my time limit here, so for closing thoughts, tune in for the final and third part of this little mini saga. So, this is going to be unscripted like the last two videos on the M. Rex comic because this is important to talk about. M. Rex is a shitty comic. I'm gonna say it, do not buy it. I know many people will be like, support the authors. You're right. We can already support the Man of Action crew. Generator Rex is an objectively better story than M-Rex, and it isn't just because of the standard stuff like the second issue having half the pages as the first issue, the racist portrayals of black people, the obvious pedophilic implications of Mia, and also a little bit of Spilkin, but it's also because the pacing is just inconsistent. See, the problem with them Rex boils down to is there's too many goddamn jump cuts. We only get 5 pages per issue of really Rex being there. And if we're lucky, we get more information on Mia, one of the more boring characters, and Six and White Knight barely share any of the spotlight. I will show you a very big issue here. The first issue has 27 to 28 pages. The second issue wastes time constantly and only has 22 pages to give us the plot. Everything is too fast paced. Also, a good chunk of the issue also is just so weird. Schizophrenic in tone is the best way to describe it. At first, it's like, okay, it's gonna be one of those action comic books that my 10-year-old self would enjoy. But the tonal whiplash is constant. At first, it's like, okay, we're dealing with this plot thread where Rex is a thief. Now we're dealing with this plot thread where the machines are rising up and trying to commit genocide. Now we're dealing with this plot thread where Mia is whining about her ex-boyfriend. This is a problem, and this is only the first issue. The second issue is even worse because there are no undercurrent of themes and tone being consistent. Everything is all over the place, and while I understand what they're probably trying to do is a mystery story, it is not good at all. This is a very bad, poorly written series, and it's a miracle that Generator Rex got its chance because of how god-awful the pacing is. I think what they were trying to do was try to create a big epic story, but they only had so many pages. And I know that the issue was gonna be crap because the art style isn't that consistent. This was during the big boom of the comics, and it was at that tail end, meaning that comic books were starting to look crappier and crappier and cannibalizing each other because it was the 90s. A good chunk of what Generator X, what we love about it, it's in MREX, but it's refined. Generator X is what happens when people are given time and effort, and also probably a few other writers to come in and correct some of the BS that Mana Action pulled. I am not saying that the authors are racist. We are in a different time and in a different era when reading this comic. This was 1999, pre 9/11 America. This is important to mention, but MREX, regardless of how it handles subject matter, is just a terribly inconsistent comic that I would not recommend to anyone. And it was a pain to read this out and also do the script because I had to do 7 rewrites and several different cuts because of how goddamn painful it was to just read the comic. Its paneling was not great. It relies too much on, those 2-page spreads, which sound epic, but the 2-page spreads are not really good. And also, because of the fact that everything that was uploaded on the internet is a JPEG, there are no high quality resolution for reading the text, meaning I had to use inferences and the follow-up chapter, or the last recap thing at the first page of chapter 2, aka issue 2. I really do recommend y'all watch Generator X, but I do not, under any good circumstances, recommend you guys read MREX. Just don't. It will taint your perception of Generator X to an extent, but it may also help you understand how far we've come as a society and as creators. So, thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the next videos I have coming up. This is just a thing that was experimental. Coordinator 7 out.